Your 3 wins, 47 points, 49, 52 points. Your 2 losses, 7 points. What do you guys have to do to bump up that offensive consistency?
Take care of the football. Take care of the football, number one, and then be able to run the ball efficiently. Both those things and both our losses have showed up big and are a huge reason why we're not able to execute. And that starts with me and being able to run the football and put our guys in a good spot to make good decisions so we can take care of the football. But those are the two main things that stand out.
You mentioned the interception. Just kind of what do you think the issue was there with the 4 picks?
Man, there's a lot of factors in that. I think, when you get towards the end of that game, it's just we're maybe forcing things. We're trying to make something happen. Sometimes bad things just happen naturally within the play, within the game. Bad luck on a few of those things. But again, I think we don't want to put ourselves in that position where we're pressing and trying to force things to happen because of what we did earlier in the game. That's still the primary factor.
What do you think overall about how Maddox played?
Very tough, physical. He still made a ton of plays for us. He extended a lot of drives with his feet. He showed incredible toughness. There's still so much that you can take from that game in a positive way for him. Nobody obviously is going to take it harder than him in those turnovers, but it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience for me, for our offense, for Maddox, something that we got to grow in because obviously in both our losses, that's been a big factor for us.
He was rolling out a lot. I know some of it was designed, some of it seemed like he was just a little quick to move, maybe when he didn't have to at times. Can he see better when he's moving out and he likes doing that, or what did you see on some of those?
I think it's a combination of both. Some of it is designed to get him out. Some of it, he was, rushed based on the pressure we were giving up. Some of it he probably left too early, and he will admit that. So it's just a combination of factors that we got to get better at, and I got to help the entire offense get better at so he can feel confident just playing his game.
When the run game isn't as efficient as you want it to be, what are you seeing going on?
If it's not efficient?
When it's not as efficient as you want it to be, what's happening?
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of maybe a breakdown here or there. We really got to execute. If we get 2-on-1 as far as combinations, we really got to be 100%. We got to execute those combinations and eliminate penetration with somebody getting beat or if it's movement that's causing that. If we can get our backs into the second level, we can stay efficient. It might not be explosive, but we're going to stay efficient. So a big part of that is me and my job schematically to make sure that we have, the appropriate numbers and angles. And then a big part of that is continuing to improve on the details so we can execute, those 2-on-1s where you got to win as an offensive line.
13 penalties over the weekend, 10 of them was on the offense. I think it's been an issue just through the season with false starts and this and that. Why do you think that's the case, especially with the offense?
Yeah, there's some of those are effort. I'll never get on a guy for an effort play that could really go either way. There's a lot of those that showed up in the game, and then the pre-snap has continued to be a problem, and we're trying to find a lot of different solutions. But we have to be able to be dynamic in the pre-snap. It's given us an advantage a lot of times already this year, so we can't shy away from that. But we have to get it fixed, and we have to improve it, and we're working on that right now. And we can't beat ourselves and put ourselves in those long D&Ds.
Especially this is communication versus cadence, do you think?
It's more communication. They're doing a great job communicating. I really think it boils down to focus in the moment. And obviously that's a great atmosphere. And for a lot of those guys, right, that's new to them. That's not an excuse, but we got to figure out a way where we can be consistent with our focus. Because, again, we've been doing it for a while as far as our operation, what we like to do in the pre-snap, and it's helped us a lot of times this year, but it's also hurt us. So we cannot beat ourselves like we did last game, and we're working on it.
Especially with pre-snap penalties, is there something actionable the coaches can do to help fix this? Or like Coach D said, it might just be nerves or whatever?
No, there's always something we can do on our end to help them. But at some point, again, it's player accountability. Just remain focused so we can utilize some of these tools that we like to do. But ultimately, it's my responsibility to make changes based on what we can handle and what we can operate.
You've only attempted, I think, one pass down the field more than 20 yards in the air, in the game. Was that just not enough time with their pressure? Or were you trying, when coach said the run game didn't help, that. But what do you see, and do you need more downfield passing attempts?
Yeah, always need more. Always need more. I think there was more called. Attempted is probably a different story. And to your point, there's a lot of factors that come into play with that. But our ability to run the football allows us to create more opportunities down the field with our play action pass. And so if we become one-dimensional, that hurts those opportunities.
You guys are always going to have the next man up mentality, but how much did you miss Matt Lauder in that game?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're missing one of your best players, right? You're obviously wishing they were in there, wishing they were able to contribute. But I thought some of the younger tight ends, some of the other tight ends stepped up and really shined in their role for the game. For us as an offense, you got to figure out who's available and then how do we play to their strengths. And like you said, next man up. But it'll be good to get Matt back whenever he's healthy, and because he just adds a good dynamic to our offense.
Make of the receiver, Coach said after the game didn't think the receivers were winning a lot of one-on-ones or getting separation, and he said he saw a little more when a little better than he thought when he watched the film. But what do you make of the receivers and trying to help out Maddox by getting open?
Yeah, I think that was great competition for them. And I think Coach Miller does a really good job finding a lot of creative ways to give them an advantage. And they did win quite a bit. And it's something that we got to continue to work on and get better at. But that's a competitive game. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be back and forth. And we got to continue to find ways to help those guys get an advantage in those situations. But we got enough great playmakers at that position that can still win one-on-ones consistently. And again, everybody as an offense has to do their job. To allow those guys to get the ball.
Chris Marshall's done well, I think, for you guys on explosive plays. Has a pretty good target percentage as well, and it felt to me watching that game that Chris Marshall was one of the players physically that could line up and play with some of those guys.
Yes, yeah.
And any emphasis maybe to make him more of a focal point in the fast passing game, Nate, and just get your best players the ball as much as you can?
Yeah, I think he's always an emphasis, but I think from my perspective, there's always a timing aspect to that. Finding ways to get him involved as soon as I can or in different situations that we haven't yet. I think that's where my primary focus is with him because he does have all the physical talents to go and win against anybody we play. We know that. So it's, again, my job to find more ways or creative ways or insert it in different areas of the game plan or within the game to get him those opportunities.
How tough was the opening drive there, messing up your script a little bit, having to start at the half-yard line or whatever?
Yeah, that's never ideal, starting at backed up like that. But, again, it's just an operational thing. We fumbled the snap, and then we had, I think, a penalty. And it doesn't help you get in rhythm, but you gotta play the situation that you're in. And we work backed up every week. We've worked it for a long time. So we still got to be able to execute and get first downs, and that starts with me and the calls I give them to be able to do that.
You and Spencer both talked about the run game needing more there. When you adjust for sacks, you had 4 yards per carry, 53% success rate. And so some of the underlying numbers there are solid. What more on film do you guys see that you want to see out of the run game?
Yeah, just the standards higher than that. It needs to be higher than that. It should be. We have the guys to do it. Like I said, it's me putting our guys in the best position to play fast and be successful, and then continuing to work on some of the fundamentals and technique aspects of the run game that are going to allow us to not only be explosive, but just stay efficient. And I think, at times we didn't execute like we should. And 4-point, carry, that's good, but we got to be better than that, just with who we have and the style of offense that we want to be.
With Roger hurting, you guys had to shift around the offensive line a little bit. Do you feel that that contributed to some of the protection issues?
No, I think those guys battled. I really do. I think Mason, you know, he was a freshman All-American at guard. I thought he did a great job stepping up in there and playing. Zach battled. I think a big part of the protection issues was where were we at D&D wise, situationally within the game. We were having to throw the ball more than we want to, and that kind of comes with the territory. But I thought those guys really battled. I was proud of them.
You had a nice drive going there to start the second half, and then obviously had that penalty, and then kind of stalled and didn't even have a field goal. But just how tough was that? Questionable, I guess you could say, penalty, because you guys really had the ball moving there. And did you like that response you guys had coming out of the locker room?
Yeah. I thought, you know, we had a plan coming out in the second half. We started executing that plan, and then again we beat ourselves, whether it's penalties or turnovers. Again, that penalty was an effort play that I think again can be called any way, but I'm never going to get on a player for unbelievable effort. So it's unfortunate, but we still got to take care of the football and not beat ourselves with the penalties, because that's the main factor. That's what you look at in both losses. Very similar in how we played and how we did not execute in the second half.
Looking at New Mexico, I mean, Jackson Eck is everywhere on the field for
Yeah.
them. Just what do you
Really
guys
good.
have to do to neutralize him?
Yeah, he's a great player. You could tell he really gets the whole defense in rhythm with his communication. He's played a lot of football. He does a lot of great things for them. A big part of it is just sticking with our scheme and being able to go out and execute. I think if we do that, he's always going to make plays, but we're going to be able to do what we do at the end of the day. And that's still the focus. It's internal. How do we continue to get better? But he is a phenomenal player.
A lot of fans have asked why you guys don't run more trick plays. What's kind of your philosophy there? I know you didn't run a ton. They didn't run a ton last year, with Cutter. But what is that something that maybe you need to, when the offense is stalling at times, try to dig in that bag a little bit? Or
Yeah, I think it's situational. You know, we definitely have it in our arsenal, but I think it's game specific, it's situation specific. It just hasn't come out for whatever reason, and I know the fans want it. I also know, defenses are good these days. There's not a lot of room for error, so you got to be smart about how you use your funk or tricks or anything like that.
have you been a guy who likes that kind of stuff, or leans against it, or
No, I love it. I love it, but I love it when it's the right time and right look. You know, I'm not trying to create more disadvantage for our offense. We got to get better at staying ahead of the chain. So it's all timing. But I'm on board.
Any more? Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Coach.